Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. This is Patrick Brown. So excited to have you here with us today. We apologize for just a few delays here on the technical side, but I'm glad that we're on today. We're excited about this Tea Time today. I wanted to welcome everyone. So if you're on, please go ahead and share, tag your friends, go ahead and like this page and connect with those so that we can come in together and have our tea time. We're so excited about our tea time that we have every Tuesday because this is a time for us to, refresh ourselves, to renew ourselves, also to be in a space where we can foster resilience. We can begin to build out a place of rest, a place of calm, and so we're just excited about being able to foster that here at the Renewal Center. So I want to just welcome everyone. Please go and come on in and get your tea, grab your drink. We're at noon today, and we're just excited about having you on today. A couple of things I want to just point out today as we're focusing specifically on our tea time is that this is about us connecting and about us building resilience. And that's the key thing that we're having here is we're building out a space of resilience and a space where we can specifically focus on how we are connecting together. And so that's what this is about. So go ahead and share and let's bring everyone on. I wanted to specifically focus today that we're going to be concentrating all month on Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're going to have an interview later on during tea time this month as we focus on honoring domestic violence awareness. So I want to just introduce that to you. We'll be honoring Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Also, in addition to domestic violence, in a couple of weeks, we'll have an interview. We're also going to focus on October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're going to concentrate on that as well. So just want to encourage you concerning breast cancer awareness as well. So please be mindful of your health, be mindful of your surroundings so that we can focus on what it is in the area of domestic violence, but also in the area of breast cancer awareness. All right. So let's go ahead and get started today. Let me bring it back in and kind of concentrate on our tea of the week, which is Moroccan mint tea. Moroccan mint tea is our tea of the week. Now, of course, we do this every week, and I want to encourage you, if this is your first time joining us, please go ahead and share with us what tea that you have today. I'm doing my chamomile tea today, very calm, soothing tea. The Moroccan mint tea is from a place called Maghrebi mint tea, and also known as Moroccan mint. That's a particular region in the nation of Morocco. It's a green tea that's prepared with spearmint leaves and sugar, and so it started in Morocco and moved into the greater Maghreb region, and so as a result, it's spread throughout North Africa, parts of Sahel, France, Israel, and the Arab world. Now, there's a few things I want to share with you today about it. Every cup of Moroccan tea comes from a generous serving of calcium, magnesium, selenium, all which will boost immune function. So if you're out there today, grab you some Moroccan mint tea. That's going to help you build your immune system. It'll kill off fungi and bacteria and viruses that try to come in and bring if your immune function's declining. So go out there, get you some Moroccan tea, especially during this time. That'll be a good, soothing afternoon or evening tea to sip from, okay? So let's see what we have out here today. If you have tea, go ahead, or coffee, whatever your tea of choice is today. We'd love to hear from you as we're focusing on our tea time today. Also, here at the Renewal Center, we have a thought room, and we're focusing on some books that will really help develop you and grow you. And our book of the week is called Choose Joy. Choose Joy. This particular book, Because Happiness Isn't Enough. Wow, this is by Kay Warren. And I want to share just a brief excerpt from the book. She says, when all of your fondest hopes and wildest dreams come true and your heart nearly explodes with happiness, it's easy to feel joyful. But what about the valleys when nothing seems to go your way, when everything is falling apart, when God is silent and you feel all alone? Where does joy fit into these moments? That's powerful. Something else that Kay Warren shares in the book is joy. She talks about the importance of how our definition of joy is critical. And if our definition is inadequate, then we'll think joy and happiness are synonymous, right? Here's something that she says in this book, and I share this with you. Joy is the settled assurance that God is in control of all the details of my life. Wow. The quiet confidence that ultimately everything is going to be all right, and the determined choice to praise God in all things. I've just read an excerpt from Choose Joy, Because Happiness Isn't Enough, and that is our book of the week by Kay Warren. All right. So before we go forward, let's see who we have out there. I'm going to bring in our Director of Renewal Community Programs, Carmela Head, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at what folks are drinking today. All right. Let's see here. Welcome. Good to have you on, Carmela.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me on this morning.
Madagascar vanilla, apple cinnamon. We see here, I think somebody's at the door. So hold on one moment. We'll go ahead and read through these first.
We have a big variety this morning.
Ginger tea, hibiscus,
yes,
lemongrass and herbal tea. Wow. Of course, Teresa has alkaline water doing the health tip. All right. Sounds good. So go ahead, folks, and we're going to go ahead and let Carmela lead us today in our tea time. So now I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
All right,
I tell
thank
you,
you.
it's really refreshing being on the other side of Tea Time Tuesday. We did musical chairs this morning. It's good to see everyone today. I'm looking forward to our renewal practice today. I just love the fact that we have a variety of tea going on out there. It's amazing, all the different types of teas. And of course, you know that because we cover a lot of different teas through Tea Time Tuesday. Let's take a moment today. We have an exciting time of reset today. And like we always do, we grab our tea and just take a sip with me this morning. I have my English breakfast tea with me. And I just want to have us just take a moment to just take our time of reset like we always do and locate ourselves. So let's take a moment and just do our breathing exercises together. So we're just going to take a minute of calm and just breathe in and out and just center ourselves. So why don't you join me? Let's take a moment to breathe in and just exhale and breathe in and exhale. Yes, we want everyone that's on our call today, on our call for our Tea Time Tuesday. Let's go ahead and invite our friends, share with this content with our friends. Let them know that the Renewal Center is live and we are excited. Today, I want to share something that I think will be a benefit to us. It is all about replenishing. You know, when we do our Tea Time Tuesday, we talk about locating ourselves, reset, most importantly, resilience. And so today we're going to talk about that. You know, today we're going to talk about replenishing ourselves and pouring into ourselves. And I want to talk about that. So let's talk about self-care today. You want to talk about self-care. When you think about self-care, I want you guys to help me out in the chat today. I want you to put the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word self-care. There's a lot of different synonyms out there when I did some research on self-care. There's words like self-preservation, self-sustainment, pamper yourself, self-maintenance. There's a lot of different things. Self-supporting, care for yourself, TLC, personal care. All of these things are synonyms of self-care. And how many of you guys know that replenishing ourselves and self-care goes hand in hand? It's like a hand in glove together. Both are companions. When you have replenishing yourself and you have self-care. You know, many of us have heard this phrase, you can't pour out of an empty cup. Now, I want to see some hearts and some hands out there. How many guys have heard that? You cannot pour out of an empty cup. We need to have ourselves replenished. And so today I'm going to talk about just because, the gift of just because. We're going to talk about that gift. I want you to grab your journal. You know how we do on Tea Time Tuesday. We get our journals and we have a great conversation about reset. So today, if you have your journal with you, that's fine. You can always go back and review it later. But I want you to be able to jot down some things to remember. You know, I want to talk about that picture that we're looking at. We see the gift in the middle, and we see that gauge right there. You guys see that gauge? You know, I want to know, I want to share something. You know, when the car is on empty, we get a little unnerved, don't we? We get really like anxious because we're going to run out of gas. What are we going to do? You know, and what about when we're thirsty or hungry? You know, it's something about that. It puts us on edge. And, you know, sometimes when we are depleted in a certain area, we kind of feel like we have to just do something to energize ourselves. I want you to look at that gauge and I want you to tell me, where are you in self-care? Where are you in self-care? Well, where are we? Let's put myself in the picture. Where am I on that gauge of self-care? You know, at the lower end, we're looking at a search for balance and more energy, and we want to do what we would like to do. And so I want you to look at that gift in the middle. How many of you like to receive gifts? I don't really see anything going on in the chat, so I want you to tell me, think about where you are on that gauge. And it's okay because we always have a conversation during Tea Time Tuesday. Think about that. Are you in the middle? Or are you on the other end of the spectrum? Okay, here we got some responses coming in. Taking time for yourself, that's self care. Thank you, Keisha. Yes, taking a time out for yourself. That's what self care is all about. And we hear the word self care, we hear phrase self care a lot. And we're like, okay, self care. But it's so important in this day and age that we replenish ourselves. Okay, there goes my dad, Dr. Brown. You're three-quarters full. Okay. And you know what? If you're on E, that's okay. And if you're full, that's okay. Because we're going to cover all bases today. Okay, Karen, she's three-quarters full. All right. I'm looking at the chat. I see Keisha, she's halfway there. Okay. This is wonderful responses because we're actually being authentic about where we are with self-care. And that gives us room to grow. Patrick is sharing that he's on halfway. That means we're room to grow. And on certain days, I am a quarter full, and on certain days, I'm topping it off. So we're going to talk about some renewal practices. I see Nicole. She says she's halfway there too. Okay. I want to talk about some things that will help us restore ourselves and replenish ourselves and get ourselves at a place of full. And sometimes to maintain it. That's right, Chiquita. She's halfway and three-quarters. That's right. And it's good to be able to locate ourselves and to share exactly where we are because it's meaningful when we take time out to be real and to say, you know what? The area of self-care, I can do a lot more in. So let's find some good renewal practices to help us. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, okay, how many of you guys like receiving gifts? Okay, so, we all love to receive the gifts that we are most deserving of, like our birthday, anniversary, weddings, graduations, retirements, all of those things are really, they're deserving gifts. And so I want to know, how do you feel when you just get a gift out of the blue and someone just drops a gift on you or shares something nice with you and you just feel like, wow, there's a feeling that you get just because they're showing you appreciation just because. And so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about giving ourselves the gift of just because. And why just because? If we look on the screen, there's so many reasons that we can give ourselves some gifts. I want to ask you guys out there, what are some ways that you feel that are reasons why you need to give yourself the gift of just because? I know I've listed some things here on the screen that I'm going to be sharing. Other than what you see, are there any other things or reasons why? I'll continue to talk while you want to share something in the chat. But there's a reason why. I came up with several reasons that I thought would be so profound. And I think this can help anyone at any age, at any station in life. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. Everyone deserves the gift of just because. The gift of just because we are deserving of it. That's right. There you go. Sometimes we're like, well, I don't know about, but it's all about pouring into yourself. And there's nothing wrong with taking the time to say, you know what? I deserve that. How do you feel when you give someone a gift just because? It makes you feel good just giving them the gifts. So imagine what it's like to be on the receiving end because you're deserving. And so let's look at number 2. Because you're worthy. Because you're worthy. Ask yourself, why not me? Why not now? Now is a good time to do something to replenish me. So say that with me. Now. Why not now? Why not me? Now is the time to replenish me. I like that, Patrick. You're saying because I'm alive and because I have life. I love that. That's the bottom line. There's so much to say why I'm worthy. And because why not you? Why not me? Now is the time. And so I want you to write some of these practices down as you go back later. You'll be able to see these things and be able to apply that. Thank you, Teresa. Why not now? Why not me? You are worthy and you are deserving. And so I want you to do something. I want you to, in the chat or wherever you are, even if you're out there on YouTube like Teresa, I want you to list some refreshing things that draw you in, that replenish you. Can you share some things with the audience? Share some things with all of our tea timers. What are some things that bring you replenishment, refreshing, that you would like to share? I know for me, taking the time out to just sit and read, that does it all for me. Write that inside your journal when you get a chance. What are some things that draw me in, that replenish me? Because when you give yourself the gift of just because, you can move from the quarter tank all the way to the full tank. And we'll talk about that later. But there are so many reasons why we want to accept the gift of just because. Do I see anything out there in the chat telling us how this would work for you? I'm going to take a moment and see what you're saying, and I'm going to sip my tea while you share. Keisha is saying a brisk walk while praying. I love that. Nicole, good coffee with good music and a good book. Oh, yeah. See, I love these practices. This is really great. We're talking about listing some refreshing things that replenish you and draw you in. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to share. I really love these comments. Brisk walking, I love that. I do that in the morning time. I get out and I walk, and it's refreshing to me. It helps me to think clearly and kind of get my mind focused on the day. And so I like how Keisha shared that. Nicole, yeah, drinking that nice cup of coffee settles you in, and some good music. Is there anyone else out there who'd like to share? What is something that refreshes you? It could be anything. What is it that grounds you? I would love to hear that. What is it that grounds you? I'll take a minute and see what some of the responses are going to be today. I know there are a lot of things that ground me. Thank you, Teresa. The sound and view of the ocean, the view of the fall colors in the mountain. Tea. Okay. Sounds like something I'd be doing too, driving and looking at the mountains. Karen is saying a morning walk and purchasing fresh flowers for myself. And that is such an awesome thing. That's what grounds you. And you're recognizing the things that you can bring back into your day, bring back into your space, that grounds you, and then it brings you a place of replenishing. And that's what Tea Time Tuesday is all about. It's all about replenishing and rebuilding resilience. So maybe by the time we get to the very end of our session today, you'll be able to find some practices to help you fill your tank. Fill your tank just because. Okay, number 3, there's another reason that, pushes us to receiving, and that's because it is free. How many free things going on out there? I mean, it doesn't take much to go for a walk. Keisha has shared some things. Teresa shared some things. Nicole has shared some things. These things are free just about. You don't really need anything to add to it. All you need is just the opportunity to replenish yourself. And so some of the best things in life are free. Isn't that right? I know I've heard that. I know you've heard that. And so sometimes just taking the time to do these things, it doesn't take much. It's free. It's tangible. I know you're like, well, what does that mean? It's tangible. It's something that you can touch. Flowers, something that you can feel. Just a cup of coffee, a warm cup of coffee that's soothing your mind, soothing your day. Continue to list some refreshing things that replenishes you and draws you in. I want you to remember that grounding is different for everyone, but take the time to acknowledge what it is, and then we can move forward in our day. Okay, I want to talk about the practical things. It's practical when we give ourselves the gift of because. Why? Because some of the most minute and small things is very practical. Like we were just saying, taking a walk, getting up, doing our stretch. I want to encourage you, just getting up and taking a walk, getting up and just stretching. Some of us sit at our desk most part of the day, and you just taking that moment to go get some fresh air, look outside, look at the leaves, just take it all in. It's a practical way of replenishing ourselves. How about taking the time to enjoy our meal? I love that. A lot of us take our time and do other things, but what about when we take our time to just sit down and enjoy our dinner, enjoy our meal, and we're not rushing through it? That's a way of giving back to ourselves and pouring into ourselves. Settling ourselves makes a big difference. Those practical things. And so, what about return on investment? When you look on the screen, it says ROI, giving yourself this wonderful gift of just because. There's a return on investment for those of us that invest and you put money in the bank. Over time, it grows. Over time, it gains interest and dividends. Interest and dividends come along with you depositing more and more. So when you deposit more and more of those wonderful gifts, just because there's no reason, it's because you're worthy, and and because of those things, it begins to build. It becomes a habit. And so we talk more about that. It's something that you expect out of yourself. And I think it's a wonderful thing for us to do. And so it goes into even the next one. We get more of what we put in. How many of you guys know that the more you feed something, the more it grows? How many of you guys believe that? The more you feed something, the more it grows. So what could that mean to you? The same thing that we talked about earlier, those things that we really call replenishing, and those moments that replenish us, the more we do it, it builds resilience in our lives. The more we do it, we're showing ourselves self-care. The more that we do it, we get more out of it, and the more it grows. And the last one, it's wise. It's wise to do that. It's wise to give ourselves the gift of because it takes more. It helps us more to become more fit and ready. So I'll say that again. It helps us in fitness and in readiness. And our outside world reflects our inner attitude. So we want to make sure that we're replenishing ourselves all of the time. I want to see you guys in the chat. Just kind of share with me what you're getting. What thoughts are you generating while we're talking about the gift of just because? While we're talking about taking our time to build resilience through self-care. I would love to hear your responses today. Tea Time Tuesdays, it's our time to get away. This is our moment, Tuesday afternoons at 12 o'clock, to build resilience and to build a place of reset after all that's going on. So I want to move forward, but I would like to hear from you what you're getting out of this. And so I'm going to move on for a second here. And I want to talk about these different 7 gifts. I hope that you guys are taking some great notes, because I believe that this is something that's really going to help us move forward. Okay, the gift of grace. I want us to think about the 7 different things that we can give ourselves. The gift of grace and self-compassion. Okay, I want you to think about this with me. What do you do, or what do we do when we derail, or something backfires in our face? We did something or said something. Oh my gosh. And we put our feet in our mouths, so to speak. Teresa says, I'm thinking of self-development. This is a great return on investment, but not thought of a lot. That is so true. Self-development is so important. I know, I believe in that. Self-development is a way of helping us move forward, and taking the time to develop ourselves and to sharpen ourselves. That's a gift. Thank you for sharing that, Teresa. I love that. The gift of self-compassion helps us to give ourselves grace. When we mess up, or we put our feet in our mouth, or we do something, we can step back. This is what the gift of compassion and grace will do for us. We can step back and we can take a breath, and acknowledge our error, because we recognize our frailty. And we begin to just take on grace and say, okay, I'm going to move forward. Because one of the hardest things I've come to learn is to give ourselves grace. Do you guys agree with that? One of the hardest things that we do is, sometimes to give ourselves latitude or to give ourselves grace. So if we give ourselves the gift of grace and self compassion, we replenish ourselves every day through exercising that. We can, and it teaches us how to learn more about ourselves with this daily practice. Thank you so much for I see your hearts up there, your responses. Number two, I love this, the gift of simplicity. The gift of simplicity. So many things are complicated and we find ourselves marinating in complexity and overload. We live in a society, everything's like there's so much coming at us, there's so much going on. We're constantly going and going and going. But when we give ourselves the gift of simplicity, we can then start enjoying balance. We can extend ease to our lives, to ourselves, and perhaps make our surroundings a place that brings ease. Now, I'm an advocate for that. I am an advocate about making our surroundings, conducive to cultivating and making ourselves refreshed throughout the day. We talked about clutter several weeks ago. Sometimes we have to clear out our desk or clear out an environment or bring something that affirms us to our environment so it can brighten up our day. And, it is nothing like just being in an atmosphere of seeing something that replenishes you, put something inspiring in front of you to see. And so I really like that, the gift of simplicity. No rushing, no running around, just ease and simplicity. How do you guys like that? Does that resonate with you? I would love to hear. How many of you guys like the gift of simplicity? I would love to know. Is there a way that you practice simplicity? And go ahead and share that in the chat. And so, number three, the gift of rest and peace. Okay, this is something that we don't think about quite often. We say we're going to rest. We're going to rest. I love the scripture. It says in Proverbs 14:30 says, a heart at peace gives life to the body. And sometimes we need more of this gift because we are, sometimes we'll say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to rest and I'm just going to just relax. But then we got all these wheels spinning. We're constantly thinking about troubleshooting. We're constantly thinking about what we're going to do next. And we're constantly thinking about what is going on tomorrow. What are we going to do when I get up? The whole purpose. I'm laughing because it's so true. The whole purpose of us resting and relaxing is to bring peace. And so we want that to be a part of our life. What gifts of simplicity, what does that look like to you in your life? Come on and share that with me. Thank you, Keisha. I see that response there. I really, really feel that taking the time to rest and bring peace is a big deal in our lives, considering what we're dealing with. It is such a big deal. And we can incorporate that and replenish ourselves with peace, just sitting like we're doing when we come to Tea Time Tuesday. Just taking that 10 minutes on your job or that 10 minutes when you've done a lot at home, or maybe that time that you're driving home, thinking about, okay, maybe no noise right now. Maybe it's just time to relax. Come on and give me some interaction in the chat. I'd love to hear more about what you're feeling about these gifts of just because. How do you feel about simplicity? How do you feel about self-compassion? And how do you feel about the gift of peace and rest? I would love to know about that. And so while we're talking and we're getting the wheels spinning, I'm going to move forward and I am going to talk about the gift of excellence. Now, a lot of us don't think about that, but we'll go to no end to make sure everything is of the highest quality for everyone around us, right? And we want to do that because we are people of greatness and we want to function in excellence. But how many times have we cut corners? How many times have we cut corners for ourselves Thank you, Prophet Hope. It's very important to incorporate rest and peace in our day. We need to do that. And I thank you for sharing that. But how many times, I would like to know, have we cut corners of quality for ourselves? And we say, oh, that's okay. And, it's almost like you giving the pie to everyone, but we take the crumbs. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole is saying sometimes the simplest things create the biggest memories. That's right. And I can appreciate that. Sometimes it doesn't take a lot of hoopla. It doesn't take a lot of hoopla. Sometimes it's the simple, practical things, the free things, the basic things that mean so much. How many of you guys have just taken the time to just do something so basic, and then all of a sudden you got so much reward out of that? You felt so replenished getting out in the garden. You felt so replenished just enjoying your day, doing hardly nothing. I mean, sometimes it just takes time for us to enjoy the simple, practical things. And those are the things that bring reset. And those are the things that bring restoration to our lives. Let's keep it moving. How about the gifts of self-kindness? That's our fifth gift. Words of affirmation. Celebrating your achievements and your milestones is a big thing. Sometimes we need to give ourselves a pat on the back. Sometimes we need to do that. I see Dr. Brown, my dad, is saying rest in peace is an integral to one's taking care of themselves. That's right. Take care of yourself. Rest in peace. Rest and just take time for peaceful moments makes a big difference. I know for me, I love going to the lake and just sitting there looking at the water, journaling, maybe walking by the lake, taking my walks there. It's just amazing. Some people like practical things, picking up pine cones or going to the orchard, whatever it is, if you're an outdoor person. Sometimes it just takes those practical things that makes a big difference to help us go back to resilience, go back to reset. And so giving ourselves words of affirmation. How are you guys going to incorporate that today? Words of affirmation or celebrating your achievements and your milestones, saying yes to your dreams and your goals. That builds confidence. So we want to continue to build resilience, but in the process, build confidence. Thank you, Prophet Hope. I love taking time for peaceful moments. Yes. And we determine that. We determine how that will go. Let's go over our sixth and seventh gift. Our sixth gift is gratitude. And sometimes we want to give ourselves the opportunity to say, thank you, job well done. I see a remark here coming from Teresa. Showing kindness to myself through words of affirmation gives me peace. I love that. I love words of affirmation because those are the words that we can speak in real time. We speak real time and it makes a difference. It boosts our day. It creates a positive environment for ourselves. And that's what greater gift can we give to ourselves than kind words. We love to give kind words to others. And so we can give kind words to ourselves. The gift of gratitude, enjoying our hobbies, enjoying our attributes, the great things about ourselves, taking time to be thankful for what we have. We need to give that gift to ourselves. And then the last one is laughter. I love this. I love laughter. We need to incorporate more fun and, laughter and fun in our day and what we do. Do the things that bring enlightenment to our day. Like we talked about the book earlier, the joy, choose joy. We have an opportunity to choose joy. So when we choose joy, we choose the just because gift for ourselves. And so I'm so excited that we want to incorporate a lot of these things. I want you to take a moment today to actually pen laughter and fun and laughter in the calendar, on your calendar. Wherever you sit, if you got a calendar in front of you, put that in, just like you would watch something funny, or play a game. Most of our childhood games we played because just sporadically and just being spontaneous. And so take the time to find something that brings you fun and laughter. That adds so much to our tank. It really grows us. How do you guys feel about that? I would love to know. So I'm going to just take a moment just to kind of recap again as we take a look at that gauge. It says it takes 21 days to create a habit. And so, what ways can we incorporate these 7 gifts into our lives, into our day? So, the next 21 days, we can create a habit of replenishing ourselves and self care. So, we want to fill up our cups and we want to fill up our tanks from empty to full. And, we want to give ourselves the gift of self care and just because. Oh, this is just awesome. So, what ways can we incorporate these gifts? I want you guys to just take that down and journal that and maybe ponder on that for the rest of the day and start, that as a launching pad, as a renewal practice on how are you going to do, within the next 21 days, establishing self care. And if you're already topped off, you're already on F, on full, how are you going to maintain it? So take this time to do this and share this broadcast with others so others can start doing some things to help them fill their tanks with self care. And remember, that's building resilience. We want to thank you at the Renewal Center today for joining us for Tea Time Tuesday. And so, just as it's scrolling across the screen, if you want to donate to the Renewal Center, you want to give, you can text to give Renewal Center at 888-364-4483. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Yes, there are great nuggets. I hope that this has been an impactful reset today for everyone that is watching on our Tea Time Tuesday. And I've just had such an enjoyable time being on the other side of the chair, of the screen. And we did musical chairs today. So I'm thankful for everyone joining in today. Please invite a friend next time to our Tea Time Tuesday, like we always do at noon on Tea Time. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. And I love sharing our renewal practices. When our executive director, he's on the other side giving us renewal practices. I like being behind the scenes receiving this. And today was just a great opportunity for me to share with you. So have a phenomenal afternoon, a wonderful fall day, Tea Time Tuesday. And we will see you all on our next time when we join together. Please make sure that you take the opportunity to look on our Facebook feed so that you can see what's happening in this month, what's happening with the Renewal Center this week. We have Reforming Culture tomorrow, and we're so excited that we want you all to take a moment to realize that we have Reforming Culture every single Wednesday, Wednesday, the first, second, and third Wednesday of the month, and we're focusing on the book of Nehemiah leadership. So you want to get sharp in yourself and your leadership skills. We really invite you to join us on those Wednesday nights on Reforming Culture. You can find out more information on how to register on our website. And then also, if you want to download the app, you can find out more information about that. Please go on our Facebook feed so that you can find out how to register for Reforming Culture. And then also how you can register or download the app. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is the Thrive series that I will be offering this coming up Thursday. It's the second Thursday for the next couple of months. This is the Thrive series masterclass that I'll be hosting. Registration is going on today. So if you want to join in on this, it will be actually ending at 6 p.m. today, registration. And I'll be talking about creating possibilities. I'll be providing some thought leadership around how to thrive in your purpose. And I'm excited about that. So I want you to go to my website so that you can find out more information if you would like to join me. If you'd like to catch the next session, you'll be able to find that information on when the next session will start. My website is www.transformational-moment.com. We want to thank you all on behalf of the leadership team here at the Renewal Center. We thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, and remember that I am Renewal. We'll see you next Tuesday at noon.